Celtics Nation, welcome back, man. Back live right here on 336 Boston. Starting to get this strange feeling, man. Celtics make it to the NBA Finals. The haters are finally showing back up. Yeah, man. The haters are back. Let's get to it. Celtics Nation, man. What's going on? What's happening, man? What's happening? Beautiful day right here in the 336, man. Shout out to everybody listening. Shout out to everybody on the way, man. Yeah, it's very interesting. The Celtics, winning 3 series in a row, 12-2 in the playoffs. These haters are starting to show back up, man. Quite a few individuals completely uninvolved with the franchise, just hating, just hating. But the fact of the matter is, we up. Like it or not, man, we up. Well, before, we address the haters, naysayers, some of the media narratives, figured I'd give you guys a little bit of a backstory on how I became a Celtics fan. And, the name of the show, I've been asked quite a few times about that. So I was born 1991, Greensboro, North Carolina. And growing up in the 90s and the early 2000s, which would be my formidable years, especially as far as sports is concerned, I actually grew up, like I'm sure most of us did, watching and following Kobe Bryant. R.I.P. Kobe. Pretty sure, Kobe brought a lot of us around my age group to the NBA. His skill level, the excitement, the Mamba mentality. Yeah. Watching this guy growing up as a kid, the majority of us, I'm sure, thought, Kobe Bryant was amazing. But I wasn't a Lakers fan. So throughout my formidable years, I started to, invest more time in following and watching the NBA. And, I stumbled upon Paul Pierce, strangely enough. That's when I really fell in love with the game. And Pierce is what made me choose to be a Celtics fan. Signing Ray Allen and KG is what pretty much solidified me being a Celtics fan. Um, yeah, it was a no brainer. It was an easy choice, and I've been rocking with this team ever since, man. So the 336 comes from being born and raised in Greensboro, North Carolina, area code 336. Shout out to the trade. And of course, I'm a Boston Celtics fan. You put the two together, you get 336. So when you put that aside, man, and you grow up as a Celtics fan and you grow up watching this team and following this team, you begin to realize that there's a lot of people who also follow the NBA who have a natural born hate for this team, man. And I mean natural born. Some people are angry maybe because their team got eliminated by the Boston Celtics. Yeah. Some people are upset. Maybe, you lost in the regular season. Maybe you were one of the teams who got that 50-point beatdown. All that aside, we up. Celtics headed to the NBA Finals, man, facing the Dallas Mavericks. These haters really believe the Mavericks are gonna just take over. That lets me know you haven't been following the trend. See, if you follow the trend, then you understand the direction that the Celtics are headed. If you saw throughout the regular season, oh, what's up, Antonio McClanahan? Shout out to you, man. Hopefully you still in here. Yeah, Boston's definitely gonna win it all, bro. No doubt. No doubt in my mind. This is our championship to win, bro. This is our year. We up. These haters rolling, man. Yeah, people addressing me about things that happened 5 and 6 years ago. And Tatum turns 21, takes the reins of this team after a failed experiment with the guy that we're going to be facing in the NBA Finals, Kyrie Irving. Yeah, Kyrie Irving failed in the playoffs and got out of town. No hesitation. Got up out of here. Ran off with KD to ultimately be swept by the team that he left. Got guys that want to come at me about losing to Miami last year at 8 seed versus a number 1 seed. Sorry about that, guys. We lost to Miami last year. There's no doubt in my mind about that. Everyone knows. But the people who aren't in tune with this team and in depth with what's been going on with this team actually don't have the full understanding of it, the way everything played out. And I've been in a battle for the past few days. And we've been putting boots to necks for the past few days with these haters who feel like they can address me. I've had to explain several times that the Celtics were the number 1 seed and they were projected to win that series. And when you take a deeper look, you remember that the Celtics were actually down 0-3 to the Miami Heat last year. The Celtics they weren't playing championship basketball last year when they were down 0-3. But somewhere along the lines, a switch was flipped with these guys, and we were able to see them go on a 3-0 run, face an elimination, and push the series to Game 7. Now, with that being understood, it's an incredible feat. Only downfall was Jason Tatum with a twisted sprained ankle in Game 6 and not being able to be 100% in Game 7. Now, the haters would say, well, you guys were a number 1 seed. They were a number 8 seed. You should have never been in that position. I can, agree with that to some degree. But just because you're projected to do something, projections are just numbers and thoughts, computerized thoughts. It's an analytics of numbers between two teams, and who the computer believes ultimately has the best chance of winning. The Celtics got eliminated last year by the Miami Heat because they were in a position that they shouldn't have been in. Prior to last year, they were on a pretty good run, going all the way in 2022 to the NBA Finals, man. And they ultimately ran across what I would call a top 10 all-time player in Steph Curry, 4-time NBA champion, Finals MVP. And Steph Curry took that championship. He did. Steph was hot. And although the Celtics had the better team, the Warriors had more championship experience. Now, the fact that we have to go back 2, 3, 4, and 5 years to clarify something in a point in time where the Celtics are up 12-2 in the playoffs after coming off a 64-18 season. It's quite honestly ridiculous to me. The fact that you use the past to justify what you think is going to be the future, it's pretty ridiculous to me. Why are we going back in time? And the worst part about all this is that the haters are they're even going against what they see this season. The Celtics are, as I said multiple times, 12-2 in the playoffs this year. And they're going with the narrative that every team we faced had major injuries to their stars. We don't care about that. Let me tell you guys something. You play the team that is in front of you. You don't look back. You don't look over them. You play the team that is in front of you today. The Celtics didn't choose for teams and their stars to be injured. We didn't force those injuries in game. This is what happened this year. After an 82 game season, guys are going to be hurt. I listened to Anthony Edwards last night after getting eliminated. He says, this is the furthest he's ever been in an NBA playoff series. He's never played postseason basketball. This is probably the most basketball the young man's ever played in his life, actually. And that's when some people got to understand the grind. You guys got to understand what it takes to actually win an NBA championship and how hard it is. You listen to any player, you listen to any coach, any executive that is involved in this association, and they'll tell you exactly how hard it is to have an 82 game season and then to win 4 7-game series in order to be an NBA champion. You got to understand that in a 7-game series, that's when coaching truly matters the most. When you face a team every other day, you begin to pick up on their habits, especially watching film. You pick up on what they're good at, where they want to be, where they want to go, where they're most effective at. The coach then goes on to make adjustments. And when you make those adjustments, it's now the other coach's responsibility, therefore, to adjust to that coach's adjustment. This actually turns out to be a back and forth thing. And it makes it very difficult, very challenging to go on to win a series against another team. Because not only do the coaches know what you're doing, but the players on the floor are well equipped to know exactly what's happening here. Shout out to Donna B, man. I see you, girl. Mavericks got this. You think so, Donna? I tell you what. Yeah, I think y'all trying to push me into making some type of prediction or something. That's cool. Um, if I'm gonna make a prediction right now, I'm gonna say Celtics in 6. I got Celtics in 6, within 6. I'll say Celtics within 6. And hopefully Donna B goes and spreads the word and these haters pull up. Because I caught y'all slipping on somebody else's platform. I hope you pull up on mine. Anyway, the grind of a 7-game series, the grind of an 82 game, year, and then having to win 4 series in the postseason kind of makes it difficult. And when you look at 20-year-olds and 21-year-olds, and you can't expect them to just, hey, we're just going to take the reins of a great franchise and we're just going to go win an NBA title. It doesn't work that way. And the best example that I had of this was to analyze the career of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, the 2 stars of the team. When you analyze these 2 guys' career, you realize that they were young, very, very young, when they took the reins of this team. And when you go from that, you begin to realize, hey, these guys were not just young players in the NBA. These were 2 young players who were taking the reins of a championship-oriented franchise. And they were competing for championships from the day that Jason Tatum got here. And when fans of the NBA look at the Boston Celtics, they have this expectation that, hey, these guys have been competing, they've been knocking on the door for years. Why can't they just get across? Why can't they just win? Well, as I had to state to these haters more than one time, and it seems like this message never got across. Typically in the NBA, most championships are won by players between the age of 26 and up. I usually say 26 and 30 is when most NBA players start to win their championships. Now, you do have a few anomalies who were able to win early, i.e., Larry Bird, shout out to the GOAT. Kobe Bryant, another example, won his first championship in year 4. But that's an anomaly. Typically, that doesn't happen. Typically, it takes NBA players about 4 to 6 years to develop into being some form of an NBA either champion or playoff contender. Now, if we were to analyze LeBron James, we would realize that it took him, I believe, 7 years. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was 7 years that LeBron spent in the NBA. It may have been 8 years before he won his first championship. And not only was it about that time limit, he had to leave the team that drafted him, go to a star-studded team to win a championship. Now, if you guys remember back to LeBron in Cleveland, you guys know how great he was. We all witnessed LeBron James, an amazing athlete, bro. A star from the day he came in. Even he himself, having the decent and good teams that he had, was not able to win an NBA title. He needed help. The good players, the good to great average players that were around him just weren't enough. That should tell you, with his skill level, with his greatness, with all the prowls around LeBron James, if he himself can't do this at the age that he came in, why would you think that most of these other NBA players in their early 20s will be able to do something like that? It's very interesting. It's a strange thought. But if you put these two guys together, Jason Tatum, LeBron James, and you say, well, what if LeBron James came into the NBA at 19 years old, and from the day that he got here, he was competing for not only Eastern Conference championships, but pushing teams in those Eastern Conference finals to game sevens, almost making trips to the finals. Now, if we watch LeBron James do that for about 6 to 7 years, right, and LeBron wasn't able to get over that hump, we would analyze LeBron James' career in the same exact manner that these haters are trying to do Jason Tatum. Imagine LeBron going back to the NBA Finals. Not the NBA Finals. Imagine LeBron James going back to back to back to back to Eastern Conference Finals, making playoff appearances year in and year out. And he just can't get over that hump. Now turn that same energy that you're using to scrutinize Jason Tatum, turn it to LeBron James, but they won't do that. They can't do that because at this point in his life, at this point in his career, he's already won a championship. It's very difficult for people who are outside of this franchise to remember the things that have happened and to remember exactly how this team was built and the progression that they've made over the past few years. Now we're at the point in 2024. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, the stars of this team, have more playoff experience than just about every other guy around them, not just on this team, in the NBA. We brought in point guard Drew Holiday from the Milwaukee Bucks. Drew Holiday has an NBA championship. He's an NBA champion with the Milwaukee Bucks. Drew Holiday does not have as much playoff experience and as much finals, Eastern Conference finals experience as Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, who are, let's say, 4, 5, 6, 8, 6 years younger than him. They play more postseason games than guys that are on their way out of the league because they were able to compete so early. It's something that you don't typically see, not just from one guy, but from a team in general. You don't generally see young teams competing for championships in their early years in the NBA. What I like to tell people is, to me, that just shows that you have a really, really talented young group of guys. And what the Boston Celtics have been able to do is realize who the stars are on this team, weed out all the other nonsense, and build a championship winning team. Most of you guys know Danny Ainge drafted Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, only to later turn the reins over to head coach, now general manager Brad Stevens. Brad Stevens has done an amazing job at putting the necessary pieces around his stars to be able to win 64 games this year, best record in the NBA. To be able to go 12-2 in the postseason, only losing 2 games out of 3 series. And now you clinched the berth to the NBA Finals, where you guys are set and poised to be a champion. A lot of people are expecting to see some form of revenge tour from maybe Kyrie Irving and Luka. Kyrie Irving returning to Boston, the only team standing in his way from a second NBA championship. And the fact that Luka definitely doesn't want to lose to a Celtics team that has Kristaps Porzingis on it, a former player of the Dallas Mavericks, a failed experiment. How would that look? Another team beats you for a championship with a guy that you couldn't win with. The Celtics beat the Mavs for a championship, ultimately meaning that in the year that we played in the playoffs with Kyrie Irving was definitely the issue. I mean, let's look at it. The Celtics beat Kyrie and Luka. It definitely shows not only are they the better team, but Kyrie Irving was a fraud when he was here. Kyrie used the Boston Celtics to get out of Cleveland. Let's just call it what it is. The majority of Celtics fans now got a hate for Kyrie Irving that just burns. It just burns inside of them. The guy stood in front of TD Garden and told every Celtics fan, I want to sign a long-term deal here. I want to be a Celtic if you guys will have me. To ultimately leave to go to Brooklyn after a failed playoff series where people like to blame the second-year player in Jason Tatum. What's going on, man? What's going on with you guys? What's up, Roadmaster Candy Girl? Donna B in here on multiples. I see you, Donna B. Yes, sir. Hopefully you guys can get in touch with the haters, man. I want them to pull up too. Got a little bit of smoke for everybody. You know, we've been at this for about 2 days. But this is going to be some heavy storylines going into this series. Knowing that Kyrie Irving ultimately has to make his return, and more than likely is going to have to win games in Boston in order to, win an NBA championship. His second. But I'm just going to be honest with you guys. Like I said, man, I got C's in 6. Definitely C's in 6. We up. Got a clip coming out for you guys a little bit later, man. Earlier in the season, we had a game against the Dallas Mavericks, and just to show you guys the level of defense that Luka cannot play, especially against this team. We get Jaylen Brown at the top of the key, outside the 3-point line. He gets Luka in a matchup, takes him one-on-one. Of course, he goes to the right, since people like to say he has no left hand. Anyway, takes him to the right and drops him. Hit the floor. Guys laid completely out. Y'all just wait. I got that coming up. Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. We got it. It's coming up. Y'all will see it later. The Mavs can't defend Boston. We got 7 guys in a row who not only can defend, but can score. Top 7. Drew Holiday, Derek White, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Kristaps Porzingis, Al Horford. You got Peyton Pritchard. Oh, well, Sam Hauser makes 8, actually. You guys forgive me. We got 8 guys in a row ready to get buckets. Top 8 can score. The Mavericks offense predominantly runs through Luka. He's going to dribble out the shot clock, and he's either going to make a late pass or put up some weird ass bucket that he somehow, some way finds a way to make. And as we all know, it's not about stopping Luka, because we all know nobody can stop Luka. You can't really stop him. You can contain him. You want to make shots for Luka difficult. You want to stay in front of him. You want to contest. It's not about stopping him. I seen this guy dribbling out to the left and throw a shot up with his right hand and just toss it up as a floater, and it goes in. I seen some incredible shots from this guy. Those shots are not the ones that I'm concerned about. The biggest concern going into this game for me is definitely going to be the pick and roll defense and the switch with Al Horford. Now, reports are saying that Kristaps Porzingis should be ready to go for the series. He should be ready to go. He spent the series and a half out nursing his calf injury. So Al Horford is going to be coming back off the bench. And I'm thinking the lineup is going to be set with likely Holiday or Brown on Luka. And Derek White's more than likely going to end up drawing the matchup with Kyrie Irving. And as I said, with these two being your main focus, it's not about stopping them, because there's going to be a game where these guys completely get off. There might be several games where these guys are making incredible shots, incredible layups from Kyrie Irving. But the best part about that is we've been in that position already. Let's go back to the Pacers series. Defense is what won that series. Late game execution is what won that series. You think about game 1, you're down in the last seconds, and somehow Jaylen Brown is able to make a completely contested, almost fouled corner 3 in order to push that game to overtime, where Jason Tatum takes over, drops about 10 to 12 points in that game, overtime. The rest is history. Game 3 and 4 in Indiana, because it was a sweep, by the way. In game 3 and 4, no, it's game 1 and 3. In game 1 and 3, the Celtics led in the final seconds for all of 38 seconds. In game 1 and 2, in the fourth quarter, in the final seconds, final minutes, within the last 5 minutes, right? The Celtics led for 38 seconds. We were able to win those games. The ability to lock in on defense and force stops. That's what wins you championships. The injured East is out the window now. And I know people are going to bring that back up. I know everybody's listening. Everybody's watching. They're going to say you guys had a cakewalk. People are hurt. The stars were down. All the excuses in the world. But the fact of the matter is, none of that means anything. You play the team in front of you yet again. Luka is, however, ailing a knee injury that he's been, ailing throughout the playoffs. And although he has had some tremendous games and he has looked himself overall, he's going to be playing in a different lineup against a team who's not so individually driven, I'll say. When you play the Minnesota Timberwolves, you know that, okay, Karl Anthony Towns is a great shooter. He's a big guy, but Luka's not going to be on him. He's probably never going to draw that matchup. So you didn't have to worry about him. You can sort of hide him within your defense and allow him to, kind of mask his inefficiencies. You got Rudy Gobert on the floor. He's not a huge offensive threat. Luka's never going to draw that matchup. It's two guys you don't have to worry about. You're ultimately going to end up having to focus your attention on Anthony Edwards. That's what the Mavericks were able to do. But when you come to play Boston, you got 8 guys who can all put the ball in the basket at a very efficient rate. And there's no place that you can really hide Luka within this. You can't. You're not going to be able to hide him on defense. There's not going to be a guy that's on the floor that you can put him on to say, hey, just go stand in the corner with this guy, because he's not going to really make a play while they're on offense. He's going to be guarding the entire time he's on the floor. And if he's not, if Luka's not guarding while he's on the floor, the rest of the series is going to be history. Kyrie Irving is not a defensive lockdown guy. He's not big enough or strong enough to deal with a guy in Drew Holiday who can literally and physically guard 1 through 5, point guard to center, on just about every player in this league. We've seen it. We've seen him do it. We've seen Drew Holiday take centers down into the post, back them down. I'm like, damn, is this guy 7 feet or something? This is Drew Holiday we're talking about. Kyrie Irving is going to have he's going to have a night, man. He's going to have to find Derek White, the Magic Man. This guy just disappears and pulls up for 3. He's a hustle guy because he's not necessarily driven on this particular offense to make plays every night. Derek White has the ability to just kind of go with the flow. Maybe tonight's about defense. He might not even score. He might leave this game with 10 points in 40 minutes. But he's going to give you multiple blocks. He's going to give you multiple steals. He's going to rebound the ball. He's going to set your offense and distribute it. And if he draws the matchup with Luka, they're going to run him through the ringer on there. We know Luka can't stay in front of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. This is just going to be something that's 100% fact. He can't guard him. He can't. Now, if the Dallas Mavericks are able to bring back Lively, which I believe he's going to play, that's what's going to make this series a bit more interesting, because typically the Celtics have had more struggles with teams who have multiple bigs who can play defense. So when you're looking at Gafford and Lively, those two guys could present a potential problem for the Celtics on offense. Potential. Now, on the nights where the Celtics are shooting threes and we're just making them, we lead this game with 23, 25 threes. That's a total different night. So I'm telling you guys right now, man, Donna being these Mavericks is killing me. I thought it was the Timberwolves, Donna. What happened? I thought it was the Timberwolves. Ah, damn. Well, maybe we'll play the Timberwolves next year. We'll be back. Hopefully they'll be back. Donna, we can do this all again. You've been riding with them Timberwolves for a minute. Oh yeah. I think that the matchup with Jaylen Brown and Luka is going to be pretty interesting. I think that's probably going to be the most interesting part of this. I think ultimately, after seeing Kyrie Irving go out and drop a 16-point game, all I need is one or two of those. You give me one or two of those, man. Luka better be going for 60 if that's the case. I don't. You got to understand, man. This team can come out and put up 120, 130 points on a night and make it very tough for you guys to keep up. It's going to be one of those nights, where the Celtics, like I said, man, give you 20, 23, 25 threes, and you looking up at the scoreboard like there's no fucking way. We're talking about the team that had the most 50-point wins in an NBA season in NBA history. Now, of course, playoff basketball is different, but the skill is there to definitely blow you out. Boston can definitely peel Dallas' cap. I'm just going to be honest with you. We can definitely do some dirty work to them. I don't see where, and let's get back to it. PJ Washington, right? These people are so hype on PJ Washington, and he's never in his career shot the ball the way he's shooting the ball now. Just now in the playoffs. This is the only time I've seen PJ Washington. I live in Carolina. I know about PJ Washington from Charlotte. He playing in Charlotte. He's had his nights, but he's never consistently shot the three the way he's shooting it right now. So for me to believe, honestly, going forward, that he's going to continue this rate, like I just don't see him continuing shooting at this rate against a team that had the second best defense in the NBA. Like they're going to have to come and score against the team who had the number one rated offense, efficiency at least. The Pacers had the number one offense overall. I don't see where the level of competition is going to come from because the Celtics can make shots with Dallas. We got the guys. We got the better team in this series. These guys aren't young anymore. They've been to the finals. They know what it takes to win it. Celtics get the championship, man. Celtics get the chip this year. Sorry to all the Dallas fans. I'm calling it early. I hate it for y'all, man. You guys had a good season. It's been a nice run. Everybody counted you out against Minnesota. Somehow they pulled it out, man. Even with like I said, Luka ailing his knee. I don't know. They shot his ass with some quarters on and, told him to get his ass on the court. And the dude's a baller. He went out. He's playing well, too, might add. If PJ Washington dropped 30 on us, Roadmaster, man, I might record myself shooting my TV the hell up. He better not get no goddamn 30 on us. That means we ain't playing no defense at all. Yeah, that means we ain't playing no defense at all. He is not the guy that should have 30 points. But if he does, I'll say this, Roadmaster. If PJ Washington has 30 points, it's because we locking either Kyrie Irving or Luka out. And they just kicking it out to him. He hitting open shots. With this defense, it ain't no way PJ giving up 30. We got too many defenders. Best wing defense. We got the best backcourt. Drew Holiday, Derek White, best defensive backcourt in the league. Possibly the best defensive backcourt in NBA history. The stats are, in line with it. You guys don't believe me, I can pull that up. But Drew Holiday, Derek White are making a case for the best defensive backcourt in NBA history, bro. Both of these guys made all defensive teams. That's typical. That's not typical for your 1 and 2. Which is why, like I said, Kyrie Irving's about to have his work cut out for him, especially with the return of Kristaps Porzingis, because we've been missing that rim protection. He's one of the top rim protectors in the league as well, and we've been missing that. We have been missing that. Al Horford is not your primary rim defender now. Now he's had some good games where he's had several blocks, but he's not the guy that you want playing starter minutes in the playoffs now at age 37. Although he still can and has had great performances, like I said. Just the other night, the guy came out and hit 7 threes, put the Pacers on ice that night. That was game 3. But with the return of our big man, 7'3", KP, the Mavericks got their work cut out for them in a way that I don't think most people think that they do. I think that, ultimately, and like I said, the most interesting part about it is we won all these games without him, and he's the focal point of the offense. A lot of people think that it's Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown, and these guys are the focal point of the offense. They're not now. This is a team-oriented – it's the most team-oriented basketball that I've seen. Porzingis creates an instant mismatch every time he's on the floor. We're going to switch. We're going to put people in pick and roll. And when we get these guys in pick and roll and we get Kristaps posted, the majority of the time we got a 7'3" center, 7'3" center on a guard or a forward. He typically doesn't even take a dribble. He just shoots over the top of these guys and just makes an easy basket. Not to mention that he stretches the defense in order to give us the room and the spacing on the floor for either Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum to work. But he's a great three-point shooter. Both of our big men can cash out from 3. Both of them. I believe both of these guys shot either in the low 40s or high 30s, somewhere between 38 and 42% from 3 for the year. And from a 7'3" guy, you guys talking about Gafford. Y'all want to bring me Lively? It's a mismatch. It is. Jason Tatum get Gafford on that switch, it's over all night. Shit, call him, tell him I said it. It's over with. What's going on, Big Tight, man? What's up? Tatum get Gafford on this switch, man, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Oh, yeah, it's a wrap. Game over. And that's what it's going to be. It's going to be heavy pick and roll. We're going to get the switch, and these guys are able to come off those pick and rolls and make plays. And that's why I was trying to explain to one of these haters, it looks like ISO basketball because typically when you're running pick and roll, you get the mismatch and you want the guy with the mismatch to go make a play. But that's not the end of the offense for this team. We get the mismatch. And because we have these stars, they draw extra attention. When Jason Tatum gets a mismatch off of a pick and roll, off of a screen, the dude garners all eyes on the floor. You go back and watch. I'm going to bring up some of this film for you guys one of these days, so you can see it yourself. The guy draws all eyes. All 5 defenders are either looking directly at him or they're glancing over just to see what he's about to do. As soon as he makes his move, he garners all attention. The defense collapses, and guess who's wide open? 4 shooters who are able to put the ball in the hole at almost 40% each. Super mismatch. And we know that out of the starting 5 of the Dallas Mavericks, none of those guys can really stay in front of them. Dallas doesn't have the defense. Now, while everybody in the media will have you believe, hey, the Dallas Mavericks defense it's improved. They've gotten better. Well, they did get a little bit better throughout the season. They were one of the worst defensive teams. They've gotten a little bit better throughout the season. We're talking about a 7-game series where you're going to have to attempt to stay in front of guys who have been screening you to death. And the fact of the matter is, you guys have 2 guys who can create off the pick and roll. You got 2 guys who can create. When we run screens, when we get mismatches, I told you we got the top 8. 8 top guys who can all score the ball efficiently. 8. We got a coach who believes in math and numbers. He's been getting hounded all year long for his 3-point centered offense, right? The biggest complaint is the Celtics take too many threes. They take the most threes. Well, we made the most threes. We've made the most threes. And when you get outshot, which teams typically do because we have so many guys who can shoot the 3, when you're down 10, 12 threes on the game, there's no way you're keeping up with that. There's no way you can score enough 2s. When I drop 25 threes, you drop 12. There's no way you can score enough 2s to keep up. You're going to be outmatched way before you realize it. The Mavericks don't have the depth that the Celtics have. They just don't. Jason Kidd has got his work cut out for him. And while I anticipate the Celtics being ready, you guys give me 1 second. Like I said, man, the Dallas Mavericks don't have the depth. They don't have – I don't believe that they have the ability to score enough for 7 games in order to beat Boston. Because the offense is going to be so heavily focused on Luka and on Kyrie. Then the only potential issue that could come about is the fact that Dallas has thrown more alleys than anybody These guys look like the old Clippers with Blake Griffin and Chris Paul, all these freaking alleys they're throwing, man. I'm talking about just lobbing the ball every time you turn around, which is the reason why I said earlier that the Celtics are going to have to do their part in staying in front of Kyrie Irving and trying to stay in front of Luka. Now, we have the defenders to do it. It's all about showing and proving. Shout out Roadmaster say he got Boston too. Yeah, we slowly piling up, man. People are starting to realize what it is, you know. People are starting to understand, you know. Some people are starting to get a team a little bit more respect, you know, just to no respect. It is what it is, you know. People get injured. Motherfuckers go down. I can't do nothing about that. Like I said, eh, I think everybody in here is from the Panther world. Yeah, everybody, all y'all are from the Panther world. It, I asked this question last night. If we're going to play, say we're going into the playoffs, right? Say the Panthers won 12, 13 games, 14 games. We headed to the playoffs. Now, how would we look, right? Complaining because Atlanta's quarterback is hurt. We got to play Atlanta. They're not 100% healthy. Or we have to, you know, we got to play. How would we look complaining because all right, Derek Carr is not playing? I'm not gonna complain about that. The hell with Derek Carr. We're going in here to beat the Saints. We're going in here to beat the Falcons. I don't care who's playing and who's not. And we're moving on to who's next. What person in their right mind complains because somebody got injured, especially when you playing 82 games, man? You playing an 82 game series. Not an 82 game series. You play an 82 game season, right? Guys are bound to get injured. It's 82 games. You have to win 4 series, 7 game series in the NBA in order to call yourself an NBA champion. And I don't think people understand or respect how difficult that is to do, especially when you come in so early on. Wait 1 second, PPP. I got you. You got to respect it, man. You got to respect the grind and what it takes to get to this point. You got to respect the fact that guys come in early on and compete for titles early on. It's not an easy thing to do. And it's not as if, you know, the rest of the league is going to show you, you know, respect as a young guy. They're not. Those vets are looking to beat PPPO Heat fan. Where you go? He pulling up. Prime, where you at? I don't know. I guess Prime changed his mind anyway. Yeah, I had to figure that whole thing out. My fault about that, y'all. Uh, anyway, as I was saying, it's a level of respect that you gotta have for this man. Everybody ain't able to do what these guys are able to do. Yeah, PPP in here. He's supposed to be pulling up on. See, I ain't looking for PPP though. I want them haters. PPP a Heat fan, but that's been over with. We ain't got to worry about in the Heat. That's been gone. Yeah, regardless, man. I'm proud of these guys. I'm proud of the point in time that they're at. I'm proud of their development, their growth. Just excited to see what they're gonna do going forward, man. Um, Series starts, I believe it's on June 6th. It's like next Wednesday or Thursday. And I got the Celtics in game 1 and 2. We win both games at home. Now I'm not gonna give out no point margin because that'd be crazy. I definitely say Celtics win game 1 and 2 at home, man. They've been well rested. A lot of people don't think that they're battle tested, even though that they are. Yeah, just eliminated the number one offense in the league. But hey, whatever. It's an exciting time in the NBA, man. Championship atmosphere, bro. Championship is in the air. All bullshit aside, man. I can't wait to get this thing started. And the haters gonna disappear. See, they loud and proud right now because the finals ain't started yet. We talking about things that happened 3, 4, 5 years ago, as if that's relevant today, which is not. People trying to say things like, these guys aren't in the same conversation as somebody else. When in all actuality, we're not comparing the player. We're comparing the time frame that it took them to win an NBA title. And if we're gonna say that it took LeBron James 6, 7, 8 years before he won his first one, why don't we give other guys who are in the same predicament the same leniency? Because they went there and got eliminated? Well, if you look at it that way, most of the greatest in the game, most of the greatest in the game, weren't really even competing at this point in their time in their careers. They weren't. Most of the greats, a lot of them weren't even in the playoffs. Most of those guys were on really bad teams, and it took their franchise forever to build them up and to be champions. Respect goes where respect goes. And I respect the kid who's drafted at 19 and comes in, is on a team, and a contributor on a team that's facing a championship. And it's like I told that hating boy last night, man. If we drafted Bryce, right? Say we drafted Bryce, and I told you that if you draft Bryce today, you're going to be in title contention for the next 8 years. How many people would have an issue with that? He's going to be on the edge of winning the Super Bowl. He's going to be on the edge of winning the NFC Championship every year. How many people would have an issue with that? Because I know I wouldn't. You talking about a team that hadn't been to the playoffs since 2017? Yeah, I'll be in title contention every year. I'd much rather be in that than not. I'd much rather be in that position than to be, 2-15. So when you look at it that way, you realize that most of the time young players just aren't able to get it done. They make mistakes in game, late game, in key situations that prevent them from not only winning games, but from winning championships. The skill level was always there. But you spend time throughout the NBA developing how to win, knowing what to do without being told what to do in key situations in games. Now, there are going to be times where your coach calls a timeout to bail you guys out, to get everybody together, calm everybody down, things like that. But your coach can't, he can't put you in position to make that steal. He can't put you in position to make that, that screen or the foul at the right time. Sometimes this is instinct, and those instincts only come from experience. As I said earlier, guess who has the most playoff experience? The Boston Celtics stars. Year in, year out, competing for titles, competing for championships. We've seen all of them do it. We saw Steph get eliminated multiple times by the great Kobe Bryant. We saw those young teams. We saw Denver before they won a championship. Before Denver won a championship, guess what? They got eliminated. So the story and the Celtics history is what follows them and what haunts them with some fans in the fan base, with some people who just, are NBA fans or fans of another team, and from the media. They've been carrying this stigma, for years. And it's all out of disrespect to me. It is. It's all out of disrespect because you don't expect young guys to win. You don't. It would have been nice to see those guys in those early days, win a title. But that's not what happened. You mad when your team gets eliminated, but when you get a chance to sit back and really analyze what happened, you really look at it and you say, those young guys had a great season. They had a great series, especially when no one expected you to be there. So all those eliminations, all those bad games, all those feelings that you had after being eliminated, guess what? Use that as motivation, as fuel to get better. And that's exactly what these guys have done. That's all they've done is get better. Year in, year out, just get better. Now they're at the point where they're getting all-star recognition. Now they're at the point where they're winning finals and guys are getting awards and accolades and first team all NBAs and second team, first team defense and all these types of things like that. You put in the work throughout the years and you've earned your rights. You've earned your keep. Now all you got to do is go out and win the last one, an NBA championship. What sucks about that is because of the narrative that has been pushed that the Celtics have had a cakewalk or an easy path, to the finals. It almost before you win the championship, it almost discredits the road and the path that you took. And when people discredit the path, it almost hand in hand discredits the championship. So what's happening here is it's going to force you because the national narrative is going to be they had an easy road. It's going to force you next year to ultimately go back and have to do it again. And that's the part that I think I'm most interested in. I'm already past this. Mentally, I've already accepted the fact that the Celtics are going to win an NBA championship this year. I've already accepted that. So what comes with that is the fact that a, a large group of individuals have worked very hard to discredit your work and your path to this. So I had to accept the fact that this championship is going to be on a national level discredited. They're going to say they didn't play anybody. The stars were hurt. This person didn't play. Giannis was injured. Julius Randle didn't play for the Knicks, and the Knicks got eliminated. Halliburton got hurt for the Pacers, and they almost beat us without all this bullshit. It's gonna come up. I'm telling you guys way early ahead. It's gonna come up, and what's gonna happen from there is people are gonna go on next year throughout the off season and say, those guys really didn't have to work that hard to get that championship. It was almost given to them. That only is able to be said because of the level of talent that this team has. The Celtics are one of the most talented 1 through 5. I say 1 through 8. It's one of the most talented teams I've ever seen put together. And because you have so much talent, projections say that you're expected to win. And that's a fact, big tight. Injuries do happen, and you got to play whoever's in front of you. Because no one gives the Celtics an out for saying, hey, you guys are missing Kristaps Porzingis. They don't give us that out because there's so much talent on this team. There's so much talent. They're stacked. But it just pains me that, you're going to say that about Boston, but you don't look at, some people do, but a lot of people don't look at that elimination that LeBron took, to the Dallas Mavericks quite a few years ago, as the same thing. The Miami Heat were projected to win that series. And since the Miami Heat were expected to win that series and they lost, I wonder why, we don't say, hey, well, what the fuck were those guys doing, or well, what's going on with this, or they were eliminated in that. People don't even really think about that series anymore because LeBron was able to go on and win another championship after that. But if he didn't, which is the same situation I'm kind of going with right now, people would still be overanalyzing that loss to the Dallas Mavericks to say, this is the one blemish or one of the blemishes on his career. So after being eliminated, that Heat team knew that they had to go out and win a title. They knew it. That's where we're at now. Celtics wanted to win in 2022, but they ran across Steph Curry, man. Even having the better team, as I said already, Steph Curry to me is a top 10 player all-time NBA. And when you got a top 10 all-time guy and a coach with him who's won three NBA titles, what would you expect to happen? You got an inexperienced team who's never been to NBA Finals, right? You got a rookie head coach that year. Steph Curry got hot, man. The drop coverage with Al Horford killed us. Steph Curry put the rest of it on ice. As much as it pains Celtics fans, that's a loss in a series that we had to accept. And I've had to accept that. You had a great, all-time great player come in and take a championship from you. That's what happened. Oh, Prime is in the building. What's up, Prime?
Yeah. What's up, man?
What's good?
Tell it, man.
What's going on? Oh yeah, what's happening?
Oh man, down here in Atlanta, man, doing this baseball. This soccer thing with Charlotte FC, man.
Are you with Charlotte FC too?
Yeah.
Hey, that's what's up, man.
Yeah, they
Road
aggravate.
Warrior. I see you.
They aggravating, man. I'm ready to drop these suckers off, man.
What is it? The players?
Coaches. So
Oh
you see,
yeah.
Yeah, I put my stuff. I block off my first two seats on both sides because people don't got no
Right, because you don't want
respect.
them sitting right behind you.
They ain't got no respect, man. You know, when they sit behind you, they be coughing and stuff, man, and making all these sudden moves. And when you drive, you use your peripheral vision, to look at your mirrors. They just be wild, yo. So, and then they like to put their foot up on this like they wild animals. So, that ain't about to fly with me, man. So I block my seats off.
Yeah, I feel you, man. Motherfuckers think they at home or something.
Facts,
Let me put my
exactly,
feet up
man.
behind Prom real quick.
Nah, you ain't doing that, man. This is my office. Would you like if I come to your office and put my foot up on your desk? And I tell them
Oh,
just like
nah, they
that.
ain't gonna have that.
Exactly. I tell them
Oh,
just like that.
you go to them with it like that?
I'll hold my tongue. If David Tepper was on this bus and he did that, I would say, hey, man, are you crazy? And put your foot down.
Hey, I
What you
feel
think
you,
this
though.
is?
You a man. I mean, he's a man. I feel you.
Yeah.
Yeah. See y'all in Charlotte?
Now, we in Atlanta. We in Kennesaw right now. Right north of
Okay.
Marietta. Yeah.
So what's
Yep.
up, man? Who you got in the series? Who you think gets it?
I'm not gonna lie, man. I was mad about the whole y'all beating Miami thing. I ain't gonna lie because I'm a Heat fan, but
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, man. Luka, Kyrie. I know y'all boys got Tatum and stuff, man. But I don't know, man. I'm leaning more towards the Mavs. I'm gonna be honest with you, 3-3-6, but I can't put it past you guys either. But I'm leaning more towards the Mavs. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Hey, no big deal, man. No big deal. Everybody been wrong before. It's no problem.
Yeah, man.
I've been
Yeah.
wrong a few times in my life.
Yeah. Nah, but man,
So you
I'm
think
glad. I'm glad your channel's popping, man. And bro, like, just keep pushing, man. You know, let me ask you a question. Are you using the captions app whenever you do your videos?
I'm not following. I don't even know what that is.
All right, cool. I'll email you, man. It's a couple things that I use, man. That helps you out with like YouTube Shorts, like with good quality, man. It's called Captions app,
Oh
and
yeah.
CapCut. I think that's going to
Oh yeah, get
drastically
with me.
help out, huh?
Oh yeah, definitely get with me on that.
Most deaf, man. I got you, man. I want your channel to pop, man. And right about now, your channel should be popping like heavy right now because Celtics are in there, man. So yeah. I'm gonna email you, man.
Oh yeah, no doubt, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Most deaf, man. All right, man. I just want to tap in with you, man, real quick, man. I'm about to go ahead and give me something to eat and lay down before this ride back to Charlotte, man. So I'll holler at you, man.
All right, PPP, stay up, brother.
Peace.
Shout out Prime, man. That's a good dude, bro. That is a good dude. Prime taking the Celtics. I mean, Prime's taking the Mavs though, so we'll see how that goes. Like I said, we done all been wrong before in our life. No, I think you might be big wrong on this one, but it might be the fan in me. We'll see. As I said, I got Celtics in 6, man. Season 6. I think the offense is going to be overwhelming for them. I think we have the capable defenders to make things difficult at least. Not to say, we make stops. Not to say we shut somebody down, but just enough, to make things difficult. Contest. Do your best to stay in front of your guy. Shout out to Coach Mazzulla. We want to see some in-game adjustments, late game adjustments. Next game adjustments. Yeah, man. Like I said, season 6. Shout out to the haters, man. Shout out to the naysayers. Shout out to the media, man. Especially the media. I know they're going crazy right now with all their new narratives. But hey, C's up. Celtics in 6. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. I appreciate you guys for pulling up, man. I'm gonna jump out of here. But don't forget, like I said, man, you guys stay tuned to this. Follow the series. Follow 336 Boston, man. Like and share. Subscribe to the channel, man. Like I said, this is only the beginning. We on the new things here. One love to you guys, man. Y'all stay up. We out.